The night clung to the barren slopes like a shroud, the air thick with the metallic tang of blood and the sour reek of unwashed men. Bullets cracked the darkness above the narrow nullah, where Sergeant Bill Thompson's patrol hugged the jagged earth. 8 ANZACs from the 10th Battalion, their khaki shirts plastered to sweat-slicked skin, slouch hats low over eyes hollowed by dysentery and endless watches. Bill crawled ahead, his Lee Enfield rifle slung across his back, bayonet glinting faintly under a sliver of moon. Behind him, Corporal Jack's Snowy Rivers, the Kiwi with the scarred knuckles, muttered a curse as thorns from the sparse scrub tore at his puttees. "Keep low, you bastards," Bill hissed, voice barely cutting the whine of Turkish machine guns from Chinook Bear's crest. The slope rose steep and unforgiving, a labyrinth of razor rocks and dry gullies pocked by shell craters. They'd been sent out at dusk, scout the Turk lines, probe for weak spots before dawn's push. No man's land stretched before them, a graveyard of twisted rifles and bloated corpses baking by day, freezing by night. Flies buzzed in their ears even now, feasting on the crust of salt and filth on their faces. Private Tom Riley, the wiry Irishman from Sydney's docks, gripped his entrenching tool like a crucifix, his breath ragged. Beside him, Big Mick O'Leary lumbered. The giant from Cork whose laughter had died weeks ago amid the flowers at Lone Pine. Young Wally, barely 18, whimpered softly, his fingers white on his rifle. Bluey Harris, the blue-eyed larrikin from Perth, cracked a grin in the gloom. "Reckon the Turks are having a kip, Sarge? Might shout at the boozer when we bag a few." "Stow it, Blue," Snowy growled, but his eyes darted to the rocks above. The wind sighed down the slope, carrying not just cordite but something else, a low murmur like voices lost in static. Lutchy Mac, the Scot with the pipe clenched in teeth, paused, head cocked. Fred, the veteran from the Boer Scraps, spat tobacco juice. "Wind, lads, just the bloody wind." They pressed on, bellies empty save for bully beef and biscuit crumbs, water bottles half full of brackish sludge. The nullah narrowed, walls closing in, forcing single file. Bill signalled halt at a fan of scree, ancient boulders hunched like forgotten gods. From here, Turkish trenches flickered with lantern light high above, a mile of hell between. He glassed the ridge with his prismatic compass, heart pounding against ribs bruised from a shrapnel kiss last week. That's when it started. A pebble skittered down from the rocks overhead, not from a Turk sniper, too deliberate, too close. Bill froze, raising a fist. All eyes up, nothing but shadow and scrub. Then the murmur again, clearer. "Bill! Bill!" His name, soft as a lover's, whipped on the breeze. He blinked sweat from his eyes. Imagination, born of thirst and the endless crump of artillery echoing from the cove. "Move," he whispered, waving them forward. But Bluey lingered, staring up. "Hear that?" sounded like. A rifle coughed from the ridge, crack, and dirt fountained beside Wally's boot. Chaos erupted. They dove into a crater, rifles up, returning fire blind into the night. Bullets ricocheted off rocks, sparking hellfire. Mick's Enfield barked, Snowy's too. Tom bayoneted the air in frenzy. The Turks poured lead, tracers arcing like angry wasps. "Hold fire! Conserve ammo!" Bill yelled over the din. The volley slackened, they'd pinned the patrol. Minutes stretched to agony, the crater a sweatbox of panting fear. Flies droned. Then silence, broken only by the wind's sigh. Bluey stood first, reckless as ever. "All clear, Sarge, let's..." He stepped out, no shot. The others rose, shaking dirt from slouch hats. Bill counted heads, Snowy, Tom, Mick, Lutchy, Fred, Wally. Bluey gone. No scream, no body. Just his rifle leaning against the crater lip, haversack spilled. Biscuits, a crumpled letter from Mum, photo of a girl in a sunbonnet. "Bluey?" Tom's voice cracked. They fanned out, bayonets probing scrub. Nothing, the slope empty as a skull. Bill's gut twisted, not a sniper. Turks would have crowed. This was wrong. Like the whispers in the ridges, men muttered about over-rum rations. The Gözcü, the Turks called it. Unseen watcher. Old Ottoman tale, jinn of the Anatolian hills, eyes in the rocks calling names to claim souls on cursed ground. "Form up," Bill ordered, voice steel. "Back to the line. Report him KIA." But his eyes lingered on the boulders above, where shadows seemed deeper. They retraced the nullah, hearts hammering. The wind picked up, moaning through thorns, carrying the sea's distant roar from ANZAC Cove. Wally clutched Bluey's rifle like a talisman. "He was right there, Sarge, one blink." "Quiet," Snowy snapped. But then it came again. "Bluey, Bluey, come back." From above, insistent, pleading. The lads froze. Mick crossed himself. Lutchy spat. Just the echo, ye daft. Bluey, louder, urgent from the scree fan they'd skirted. Tom bolted first. Blue, mate! Bill cursed, lunging after. Rayleigh, halt! Too late. The patrol surged up the slope, drawn like moths. Thorns ripped puttees, rocks gashed shins. They crested the boulders, a shallow cave mouth, black as pitch. Inside, by faint moonlight filtering through cracks, Bluey. Slumped against the wall, throat torn ragged, eyes staring blind at the ceiling. Blood pooled, still warm, stinking coppery. His slouch hat beside him, pierced by thorns like a crown. Christ, Fred whispered. Mick retched bile. Bill knelt, checking pulse, gone. Sniper. Must have. A laugh bubbled from the dark. Bluey's laugh, his head turned, slow, unnatural. Eyes snapped open, not blue, but glowing faint amber, like embers in oil. Missed me, boys. Turks are thick tonight. Bluey? Wally gasped. The thing wearing Bluey rose, grinning too wide. Come on, Wally. Got a yarn for you. Mum's waiting. It lunged, not at them, but passed into the night. The patrol fired wild. Crack, crack, bullets thudding rock. Bluey thing vanished over the ridge, laughter echoing. After him, Snowy roared. Madness gripped them. They charged up slope, rifles hot, forgetting Turks. The barren face of Gallipoli unfolded. Endless ridges, gullies like veins, Tunic Bear's crest a jagged tooth line against stars. Wind howled, whipping dust into eyes. Down a gully they plunged, boots sliding shale. Fred tripped, ankle snapping crack, he screamed, dragged by Mick. Tom fired at shadows. Larchie bayed like a hound. Bill led, regret burning. Fools, all fools. The gully dead-ended in a sheer cliff, ancient carvings weathered on the face, eyes, mouths, Ottoman runes. No way out. They piled against rock, chests heaving. Above, Turkish lanterns bobbed, reinforcements. Then the watching began. Intense, physical. Like fingers on nape, breath on ear. Shadows lengthened, coalescing. Whispers multiplied. Bill, Snowy, Tom, home, rest. Wally screamed first, turned, clawing air. His eyes rolled white, then amber. He spun, teeth bared, lunging at Larchie. Bayonet plunged home. Mick's work. Wally slumped, twitching. Jesus, no! Tom wailed. The air thickened, cold despite summer. From the cliff face, eyes bloomed. Dozens, glowing amber in cracks, watching. The unseen watcher uncoiled. Tall as two men formed smoke and bone, cloaked in rags fluttering like Turkish fezes. Multiple limbs, ending in claws. Face a mass of eyes, mouths whispering names, memories. Bill's farm in Queensland, Snowy's girl in Auckland, Tom's sister's laugh. It reached no gunpowder scent, just ozone and ancient dust. Fred fired point blank, bullet whooshed through mist. The thing seized Fred, claws raking, dragging him screaming into the cliff. Rock swallowed him whole. Run! Bill bellowed. They bolted back the gully, Mick carrying Larchie, Tom covering. Claws scraped rock behind, whispers deafening. Join us. Eternal watch. Turks opened up, rat-tat-tat as shadows writhed. Mick fell, gut shot, the thing pouncing, merging flesh to smoke. Larchie clubbed it with rifle butt, crunch, buying seconds. Snowy shoved Bill ahead. Go, Sarge, tell 'em! Last glance, Snowy bayoneted the mass, Tom firing till empty. The watcher engulfed them, eyes multiplying, slope alive with glow. Bill ran. Hours? Minutes? Collapsed at ANZAC wire as dawn broke, uniform shredded, hands blood-crusted, not his. Medics hauled him to trench where mates stared. He spoke little. Watcher, slopes, eyes. Weeks later, evacuation whispers. Bill shipped home shell-shocked, they said. Died 1920, fever. His slouch hat donated to a museum, inside band scratched deep. Gözcü sees all. On Gallipoli's barren slopes, they say, it still watches, calls names on the wind, and if you're foolish enough to answer,